welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a position where white has no rooks or queens, and black has no knights, bishops, and pawns. Now, if you're curious, a queen and 2 rooks is worth 19 points of material, while 8 pawns, 2 knights, and 2 bishops is worth 20. However, one of these pawns is bound to get captured on the first move, which is going to make this about 19 points of material versus 19 points of material, which will be a pretty interesting fight. So, this game starts off with white playing knight c3, a pretty solid move, and this move simply defends the a-pawn and develops the knight at the same time, so a pretty good multi-purpose move. And if black does not choose to take this pawn on the first move, then white is most likely going to play knight f3, which will do the exact same thing, and white will be up an entire pawn of material. So, black of course takes this pawn, and after this, white simply plays e4, probably trying to get these bishops into the game in the future, and after this, black plays rook c8. Now notice this rook scope on this knight, as this will be important later, but anyways, after this, white simply plays knight ge2, adding an extra defender. And after this, black plays rook h1, pinning this bishop to the king. And after this, white simply plays knight g3, and this move attacks the rook and tries to make the rook go back, but the rook actually stands its ground and moves to g1. Now this move looks like a pretty bad move, as this allows knight e2, and knight e2 will simply trap this rook, as you can see, but this move is actually incorrect, because this would allow black to capture this, and if white were to capture this, then black takes this bishop right here, and this position is much better for black, because even though the material is +1 for white, the king is going to be on the run, and with a queen and a rook, this is going to get very deadly. So, instead of that, white simply plays knight f5, and it looks like you are supposed to play knight e2 according to this arrow, but the engine that I used is the cloud analysis, which goes to like depth 50, so this move was actually proven to be the best. However, this move does not prevent the brilliant rook takes c3, and this move is really nice because if white plays the very instinctful looking dxc3, this move is a huge blunder because of rook takes f1. And if white simply takes this rook right here, then there is a checkmate in 1 with queen d1, and as you can see, there's no squares for the white king. And obviously, if the white king does not take and moves to e2, then there's simply queen d1, and after king e3, black simply takes this bishop and is up 4 points of material and is going to win this game. So instead of this, white simply plays bxc3, and after this, black plays queen a8, attacks 2 pawns at once, and is most likely going to win a pawn here. So after white plays knight x e3, black simply takes this pawn, and even though white is up 1 point of material, the queen has gotten into the position, and there's obviously some compensation here for black. But after d3, we get rook takes f1, another rook sacrifice, and if white decides to get a little bit greedy here and plays king takes f1, holding onto this pawn right here, then black simply has queen a1, and after the king moves, black is simply going to take this bishop, and there was no way to defend the bishop here as it's pinned, and this knight is very poorly placed to defend it, and even though this looks kind of bad for white, this position is technically still equal, but this is definitely not the right way for white to go. So instead of that, white actually recaptures with the knight instead, and black simply takes this pawn here, and after bishop d2, black simply takes another pawn, and white defends this loose pawn with f3, a pretty solid move. And after queen b1, we get king f2, and a couple moves later, black actually is going to pick up another pawn. Where is it? It's right here. And yeah, I mean, white for some reason just let this pawn go. I don't know why this was the top-ended move, but maybe this pawn was too much of a hassle to hold on to. Or maybe white just wanted to develop the pieces this way and try to prioritize these 3 pawns over this one loose pawn. So black obviously captures this pawn right here, and now the material is equal because a knight, a bishop is worth 6 points, and then 3 pawns is worth 3 points, so that's 9 points, and the queen is also worth 9 points. However, if anybody is fighting for a win here, it is definitely the white pieces, as these pawns do have a lot of future potential to become a queen, and obviously if white can make a queen, then they are going to win the game. So, after knight g3, queen d4, and king h2, there are no more checks that the queen can give, as all the pieces nicely cover all of the checks, but the queen moves to d6, attacks the bishop, and forces the bishop to move, so the bishop goes to g5, and after queen e5 attacking the bishop again, we get bishop h4. And after king f7, king h3, there is not much that happens here. The pieces kind of shuffle back and forth constantly, and yeah, I mean, not much happens here until move 59, which I will move to very slowly. We're almost there. and here we go. Move 59, we get a pawn move, and the reason this pawn move is important is because this resets the 50 move rule, and the game continues on. However, as you may not expect, there is not really any progress that happens here, and I mean, white does not choose to progress any of the pawns any more forward. I'm not exactly sure why. Stockfish usually likes to fight for a win, but the engine, or the Stockfish engine, chose to just not fight here. And eventually, on move 109, this game does indeed end in a draw by the 50 move rule. And yeah, I mean, that's the game. So obviously this fight was quite intense, but it did end in a draw because I guess materialistically it was too close. So yeah, it was a pretty fun fight, to be honest. I do wish that the game ended in a more fun result, like a win for white or a win for black, but that's how it went. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.